Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the June 25th meeting of the Oklahoma City Planning Commission. I'd like to call us to order and go over a few housekeeping items. If you have a cell phone with you, please silence or turn it off. If you've never been to one of our meetings before, welcome. Here's what to expect. We'll begin with some simple administrative tasks, including minutes and continuances. Then we move on to cases that are on the consent docket. These are fairly straightforward cases that can be heard as a group. After that, we move to cases to be heard individually. We'll hear them, discuss, and determine if recommendation decision can be made today or if more time or a continuance is necessary. There are certain cases where this body makes a final decision, but most of our items that we hear, we provide a recommendation to City Council and are not the final decision. So for those, no matter what the decision is, you'll have another opportunity to share your concerns, again, when those are heard at City Council in approximately 6 to 8 weeks. There are certain items such as homeowners association CCRs and agreements between private parties that are outside the purview of this commission and are not factors in our discussion and consideration. And we just ask for the sake of time that you refrain from using those as justification for your case. If you're here to speak on an item and are not the applicant, please fill out one of the forms available outside and provide them to Elena or Jared down here. When that item is called, you'll be asked to come to the podium, come give your name and address for the record, and you'll have up to 5 minutes to speak. If you're here to speak an item with a large group of people, we encourage you to select a representative to share your group's concerns, and in those instances, some additional time will be granted. Where several speakers on the same item are heard, we just ask that you do your best to limit comments to those that we haven't heard yet, and we reserve the right to limit extensive repetitious comments. Please direct all your comments and questions to the commission, and if needed, we'll ask staff or the applicant to respond. Finally, we appreciate everyone's presence today and the time that you took away from your other obligations to be present. We ask for your cooperation upholding the decorum of the meeting, and we ask that you don't speak from the gallery. So thank you for your attendance, your attention, and your assistance. And with that, we'll move on to the next item, which is receipt of the minutes from the June 11th meeting.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to receive the minutes for the June 11th, 2026 meeting.
A motion to receive the minutes. It's been seconded by Commissioner Meek. Please cast your votes. The minutes are received. Next is item 3, continuance requests, and we'll start with uncontested requests.
Item 17 is case C7761, request to defer to July 23rd. Item 18, case C7813, defer to July 23rd. Item 19, SPUD 1834, defer to July 23rd. Item 20, case CPA 2506, defer to August 13th. Item 21, CE 1156, defer to August 13th. 22, PUD 2110, defer to August 13th. Item 23, case SPUD 1827, defer to August 27th. Item 24, case SPUD 1830, defer to August 27th. And item 25, case PC 10977 has been withdrawn.
I'll just confirm there's no one here to be heard on any of those items. Seeing none, we're just ready for a motion.
I would like to make a motion to approve the uncontested continuance request as read.
A motion to approve the new requests. It's been seconded by Commissioner Newman. Please cast your votes. And the uncontested requests are approved. New requests.
Item 4, case C7819, request to defer to July 23rd. Item 10, SPUD 1838, defer to July 23rd. Item 11, SPUD 1839, defer to July 23rd. And item 16, PUD 2142, defer to July 23rd.
Is there anyone here to be heard on any of those items?
The case numbers? Item numbers. So 4, 10, 11, and 16.
Okay. I'm just ready for a motion.
I would like to make a motion to approve the new continuance request as read.
Motion to approve the new requests from Commissioner Noble. That's been seconded by Commissioner Harrison. Please cast your votes. The new requests are approved. Next, we move on to item 4, public hearings and the consent docket.
Item 1 is case C-7814, final plat of Sooner Gateway, Section 1, located south of East I-240 Highway and east of South Sooner Road. And item 2 is case C-7815, final plat of Wheeler District Phase 5, located south of the Oklahoma River and west of Southwestern Avenue.
Anyone here to be heard on either of those 2 items? Seeing none, ready for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent docket.
A motion to approve the consent docket from Commissioner Noble, seconded by Commissioner Meek. Please cast your votes. The consent docket is approved. All right, when we move to our items requiring a separate vote, and we start with item 3.
This is case C-7812, preliminary plat of 10 West Center Addition, located south of Northwest 10th Street and east of North Check Hall Road, and variances to the subdivision regulations.
We have an applicant present. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Terry Haynes with SMC Consulting Engineers, 815 West Main Street. Here on behalf of the applicant, we reviewed the staff comments. I know you have a plethora of other items behind us. We're in agreement with the staff comments and just ask for your approval. I'll be here for any questions you might have.
Okay. And agreeable to the technical evaluations?
We're in agreement with the technical evaluations. There are 2 variances that are part of the preliminary plat. One includes there's a residential community addition to the southeast. Zoning code, or the code, requires that we provide a connection point. Because this is a major retail development, we don't want to have that access point. I think it's a good idea not to. The second variance on this was, just a moment.
Naming the private drives.
Yeah, the private drives to be.
Making the private drives
named.
as named streets. That was a staff idea. I think it's a great idea. We've had this experience with the Check Hall Market, Caddy Corner, off of Check Hall. We have issues with addressing over there, so we think it's a great idea to be able to name these streets. So.
All right, very good. Commissioner Meek, this is your ward. You want to lead the discussion?
Yeah, I've reviewed this and I agree with staff that it meets all the requirements. I know we do have the 60 he's agreeable to. So unless there's any other comments, I'd like to start with the variant, move to approve the variance 5.3.1.D.5.
I have just a question. I agree that it's probably not a good idea because it's commercial development, but also not a practical idea because where the stub would be into common area. But I wonder, have we decided on a sort of policy about stubbed streets and providing some sort of?
I think because of the 2 separate types between the R1 and then this commercial, that it's a good idea there. And it was also a request by the R1 in the original PUD to not stub. Makes it an easier ask for me.
Yeah.
But my point being, have we decided that just stubbing a street and blocking it off is not the best way to deal with that? That there needs to be some sort of, I don't know, treatment of it or whatever?
Removal.
Are we moving in that direction on this?
Well, I mean, I would love to see that too, so that it's not just a stub to nowhere with a type 3 sign that then gets dilapidated. But I think that it's a public street, and so it's an effort between the city and then the neighborhood to come together to get that fixed.
In this specific instance, I mean, you have the street basically terminates at the property line, and there's a driveway. There's 2 driveways that appear
Right
like
there.
right there. So it's not like you've got 50 feet of useless street.
It's more natural than others that we've seen,
Yeah.
where it won't look so bad.
Okay. I just think if we're going to have a kind of policy about the way those stubbed streets should be dealt with, that it would be a good idea for us to be clear about what it is so that, people know what to expect when they come to us.
I agree, and I also think that requirement somehow to release the easement and close it would be a good idea.
Even though it's not under the PUD or SPUD we're
Right,
hearing, it's
all
always
in
on opposite.
someone's property, and
Yeah.
then would then become common, so.
That's the problem.
It is, and it's more difficult, but then again, it's the owner of the PUD that's requesting it can make that, reach out. and
Yeah, I think that's
Put
a
the
good
effort out to do
idea.
it.
Well, so we won't do that today, but we're going to think about it a little bit more and perhaps formulate a policy.
I think that would be the direction.
Great idea.
No, you're good. All right, with that, I had made a motion for
All right.
the approval of the variance.
We had a motion from Commissioner Meek to approve variance to section 5.3.1.d.5 of the subdivision regulations. We're waiting on a second. It's been seconded by Commissioner Powers. Please cast your votes. That variance is approved.
All right, and I'd like to now move to approve the variance to section 5.4.2.e.5.
We have a motion to approve the variance from Commissioner Meek, seconded by Commissioner Powers. Please cast your votes. That variance is approved. Now the item.
All right, now the item. I'd like to move to approve C7812, the preliminary plat with the 6 TEs as listed.
A motion to approve the item subject to technical evaluation, seconded by Commissioner Powers. Please cast your votes. That item is approved. Item 4 has been continued, so we'll move to item 5.
Item 5 is a recommendation on proposed ordinance related to the zoning and planning code, establishing definitions for solar energy systems and establishing development regulations for accessory solar energy systems in all zoning districts.
There was a presentation that was along with this that we saw 2 weeks ago. I did not feel that it was necessary to see that presentation again, so I don't know if there's anything to add or if any commissioners have comments, and we're just ready for a motion.
Maybe it'd be a good idea, just for the record and the people who are watching at home, if they would just give us some idea why we're doing this.
Sure.
Just,
Yeah.
yes.
Certainly. Hi, T.O. Bowman with the Sustainability Office. So this ordinance is for accessory use solar. It establishes definitions and use standards. We presented to the Urban Design Commission, the Downtown Design Commission, both with unanimous approvals. We also presented to the Development Thanks, Jared. The Development Regulations Committee for Planning Commission. Commissioner Meek, to your question about the stickering for warnings, those are required on residential and commercial. So we did confirm that with the Development Center. This, again, introduces its first establishment of definitions of solar energy systems for accessory use only. They're allowed on the rooftop and on ground mount. Ground mount follow the same rules as accessory structures that already exist for the base zoning district.
All right, and as this is new, I mean, I suspect this is going to be the first iteration, and this will just continue to evolve, as it's used more widely. So, all right, any comments, questions? All right, I think we're ready for a motion.
Then I will make a motion to recommend approval of the ordinance to the City Council for accessory solar energy systems in all zoning districts.
Motion to recommend the ordinance to council from Commissioner Noble. It's been seconded by Commissioner Privet. Please cast your votes. That is recommended for approval. Item 6.
Item 6 is CPA 26-6, consideration of a map amendment to the comprehensive plan, removing employment land over a urban low-intensity base LUDA area. And this is on approximately 19 acres north of West Britton Road and east of North Kilpatrick Turnpike.
Vaneri Mujica Ortiz for the Planning Department. So this is CPA 260006. It's basically amending the comprehensive plan, removing the employment land LUDA layer from the urban low. There's no associated rezoning case with the CPA. This is where it's located. It's located north of West Breton and east of the Turnpike. Right now, in terms of land use, is undeveloped. In terms of zoning, is a zone R1. Sorry. In terms of the LUDA, the land use typology, it is employment layer with a urban low base. In terms of city services, water is available, sewer is readily available. Emergency services are within the urban response time. In terms of findings, the subject site is an excellent site for employment use due to its proximity to the turnpike and city infrastructure. It's well served and situated close to employment land sites, are limited in the northwest area of the city, where sites suitable for residential use are more plentiful. Preserving employment land to facilitate the creation of jobs remains critical to Oklahoma City's overall economic stability and future growth. Removing the employment designation for this site will reduce the amount of development-ready employment land available in the northwest quadrant of the city, lessening the city's ability to retain and attract large employers. Based on the finding above, the staff recommends denial of the request. I don't know if there's any other questions.
Any questions, comments from commissioners?
This one or the one with the LUDAs? That one? Okay.
All right.
Hey, and I just wanted to ask too, Benary, is the land to the north and to the west, is it still in the employment layer?
Yes, can you go to the LUDA map? Yes, so all of this area is still employment, and I don't know if you guys remember, a month ago, all of this was employment too, and it was,
It still is, right?
yeah, all of this
I just
still
remember, and then the property on the north side of the
Yeah.
expressway was, and we took it out.
is still
Okay.
employment.
Sir, did you sign up to speak?
I didn't. I can spit one out. If you give me a little bit of leniency.
All right, I'll give you an opportunity.
Okay.
Hello, David Box, 525 Northwest 11th Street. So I was hired on this site this week. There is a zoning case that either has been filed or will be filed in short order. The balance of this around the purple box is a case that we have already filed. We met with the neighbors on it this week, or the last week. It's for a residential subdivision that includes residential and multifamily. So perhaps we're filing a comp plan change, Caitlin, on the balance of that? Anyways, this is all in active development with residential development. So much like the mile, I guess, south as you get closer to Hefner, where it was all employment land, and one by one we took that away. All of this is going the way of residential. So I would ask that you approve this unexpected, surprising comprehensive plan change request.
My understanding is that we just received the rezoning application for this particular property. And Benary, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we do have a CPA request for the property to the west.
And
So it's both.
It's
It's
just-
two different developers. The purple is a separate developer that I think Johnson Associates is perhaps filing the application right now. Around it is a separate developer that we have represented for a while and had a very positive neighborhood meeting last week with them, with our plan, and we surround the entirety of that purple box.
So, yes, we did receive another application that we're going to be presented in July. It's not for the rest of the area. Actually, some of it is going to still remain in employment. It's for 100, I believe, 30-some of the acres. So it's the land to the west and a little bit to the north, but there are two big parts that are going to still remain within the employment LUDA in that area.
Okay. So this is Ward 1, and, you know, I will, we've seen a number of these cases in this specific area come to us before for this exact same thing, and staff has always recommended denial because it was a planning study and plan from years ago that established this overlay, and that's all it is a line on the map that says this shall be reserved.
And the conditions hadn't changed, and so it still kind of meets the idea to
Right.
keep it in the overlay.
My thing is, and we go back to this, like if you want to be able to control this and reserve this, there's other ways to do that by purchasing the land. For this specific area, there is no access to Kilpatrick Turnpike from Britton Road. So one of the standards is the access to major transportation. So you can get there, but it's kind of a roundabout way. So, but I think this specific site doesn't necessarily have good access to the turnpike. Also, I attended a community meeting in that community to the east, probably about a year ago, and at that time, this site, a little bit smaller, was being considered for a storage unit, development, and those neighbors were very adamant that they wanted to see residential. And, as Mr. Box alluded, this whole area, if you look to the south, this has all been residential. It's been coming this way for years, and I think it will just continue. So I just don't see this getting developed. I mean, there's been so many opportunities for employment developers to locate here, and they're just not picking it for whatever reason. So, so I'm in favor of granting the CPA, but certainly open to anyone else's opinions.
Here's the thing. When we did the employment reserves, it was, in my opinion, at the time, a good idea. There was a real concern that there were not enough large tracts of developable land that could be made available to potential employers, generally people we were bringing here from somewhere else. Maybe the flaw is in the execution because it's just an overlay and that's not enough to actually cause it to be reserved, which is kind of the concept, employment reserve, and I get that. But it seems to me, first of all, that it's not a bad idea to do something about that concept. Maybe this wasn't the way to do it. But clearly these things keep coming back to us, and I'm talking really northwest. I'm not as knowledgeable about other places in the city, but maybe the logic applies. They keep coming to us. Staff generally recommends denial. We approve them anyway. If we have abandoned the idea that the employment reserve serves a function, then I think we need to get rid of it. I mean, I just don't, it gives me such anxiety every time one of these things pops up. The idea behind these large swaths of land were not just that they were going to build giant things, but that you would have room for supportive residential and commercial development around whatever the employer was. And so having enough room to do traffic circulation and things that made sense for that kind of a use and its accessory uses made sense. It clearly has not worked out that way over the time since these things were established. Every time we talk to people at the Chamber of Commerce about, could we be doing this different? Are there things in motion and so on? It's never a very solid response in terms of here's what we're doing and here's why we need it and here's. So I think we need to, instead of just doing this piecemeal like this, in this particular one, you're right. There's no access onto the Kilpatrick from here. There is access onto the Kilpatrick from the bigger piece when it was established, and that would have made sense for an employer like a Paycom or whatever. So now we basically cut that off, and I think it just doesn't make sense for us to continue to see these one at a time if we're going to just keep doing the same thing, which is ignoring staff's recommendation and approving them. So,
And while it doesn't make sense, we have to because it was put in the comp plan. And so I think that, and this was way before my time on this board, but if we would have held steady and kept it as an employment layer, and we would have had, and possibly could have had, a large employer, we would have had access onto the turnpike because one brings the other. It didn't happen that way, and so the development is coming. This is one of the last pieces, actually. We went all the way to the expressway and we're all the way to Britton Road, so this is just the last little piece.
and I agree with that. I get that. I mean, like I said, maybe the reserve was not the right way. I think that there was real concern as we started this process of carving it up.
But you do see it. I mean, as they built the turnpike, it was all undeveloped. You would have thought maybe we would have had commercial all the way against it or industrial, and then the residential further away from the pike and back. It just did not happen that way. I wish it would have,
I think
really.
there was real concern, as individual applications came in, that we would have faced litigation if we had tried to
We
deny
didn't
them.
own the land.
Based on a reserve that doesn't do anything to deal with the property rights of individuals. I mean, the reserve may just not have been the right, method to try to do this, to your point, but
Well, and the comp plan was an idea. It's not written in law.
And it's a big idea, and it's a good idea in terms of having these large tracts of land available. Because when you're doing those deals, I don't do them, but I am familiar enough to know that you don't have years to think, well, we'll go out and we'll assemble it and we'll, rezone it, and before you attract those people, you have to have that available to do.
Right. And you have to own it to have that availability, truthfully.
So.
Did you have something to add?
No.
Okay.
I mean, perhaps the motion could be expanded to just get rid of all of it right there and
And
save yourself
It
30
would
minutes
have
next
been.
time.
I mean, it would have been in there. If they would have, if the staff would have deemed it to approve it, they would have drawn it all in.
Yeah, and that exact same thing happened a
Happened
couple
before.
of meetings ago where there was a case to do like 20 acres and they expanded it to 120 and did it all in one swath, but that was a recommendation to approve, where this one's not, so
Well, and it wasn't to remove, I don't believe it was to remove an employment layer.
I was
It
gonna ask
was,
Yeah.
Binary if she remembers which one it was.
I think a good
it
example.
was a layer. I just don't remember which one.
Okay, it was heavy industrial, okay.
A good example on how maybe it should be done is that Project 577 in Ward 4 that was bought by
yeah.
the city and
Yep. Eastern
and
Bryant.
currently being
89.
developed and got lock supply there.
Right. But you know what? They bought the property.
Yeah, right, no, that's a good example. And a property that wasn't really gonna be anything else with all the oil wells and everything else. so.
And I certainly agree that residential is a better use than another storage unit, so I have to side with the neighbors on that, so.
All right, anything else? It's my ward. I can't make a motion, but I support recommending approval of the item.
With that, Mr. Chair, then I will make a motion to approve case number CPA 26-00006, the proposed map amendment to the comprehensive plan, removing the employment layer.
We have a motion to approve the item from Commissioner Noble. It's been seconded by Commissioner Harrison. Please cast your votes. That item is approved. Item 7.
Item 7 is SPUD 1843, application to rezone 1933 Northwest 39th Street from R1 and SPUD 1800.
Good afternoon, David Box, 525 Northwest 11th Street. Here on behalf of the applicant. This is a site that was just recently zoned into SPUD 1800. My client operates a roofing company, and the outdoor storage area is really utilized to operate somewhat of a outdoor showroom, given the nature of the materials that he sells. The site that we had zoned in SPUD 1800 was just not big enough for what he needed, so he acquired the lot to the east. And what we have done is carried over the regulations that were placed upon this application and that item into this item. So with that, there are no TEs. However, in conversations with Ms. Powers, there is a request that we modify some of the SPUD. Namely, add a TE1 that requires trees along the east to be on 20-foot centers rather than 25-foot centers, which is what was originally contemplated under the SPUD. Page 3 of the SPUD, change language under the 8300.54 use unit limitation to state permitted by right but limited to the outdoor storage of roof tile, slate, and other roofing materials as accessory use only. Any outdoor storage shall be screened, landscaped as defined herein, and shall be further limited to lots 29 through 32 as shown on Exhibit B. Stacking of materials shall be required to be lower than the height of the screening. So with that, happy to answer any questions.
The animal uses.
Oh, and deletion of use unit 8300.8 and 8300.11, which are animal sales and services grooming, animal sales and services kennel, and veterinary restricted.
David, if we're going to say that if we're putting in an 8-foot fence, let's call it lower than the fence, not lower than the screening. I don't want anybody to think the
Sure, that's
trees
fine.
are the
Yeah.
screening.
So
you
an
know,
8-foot
it-
fence is required, so we can modify that to say lower than the height of the fence.
Okay, great. This is in my ward after I, stopped coughing at the idea of expanding the outdoor storage and display and really looked at what this is. I think it makes sense to do this. I'm okay with the application given the amendments that we're making by TE. Did we do the hours of operation?
Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 4.
So is that TE 3 or 4?
4?
Okay. So does anybody else have anything they want to say about this?
I had a question on the idea of the parking or the storage being reclaimed asphalt, and just to make sure that that would be bordered with the concrete ribbon.
Oh, there it has to be.
I think
I'm sorry, say that again?
if they used reclaimed asphalt, then that would be bordered with the concrete
Yes.
ribbon.
Yeah, I think public
I
works,
think it's
that's a
standard.
requirement. Yeah, yeah.
So just make sure.
I'd like to say I like the fancy master development plan.
Anybody else? Okay. Well, if not, and there's nobody signed up to speak,
I do not have anyone signed up to speak.
okay, then I'm going to move approval of item number 7, SPUD 1843, with the inclusion of the 4, we think, TEs that were read into the record.
A motion from Commissioner Powers to recommend approval of the item of City Council subject to the 4 technical evaluations. It's been seconded by Commissioner Meek. Please cast your votes. That item is recommended for approval.
Thank you.
Item 8.
Item 8 is SPUD 1845. Excuse me, application to rezone 801 North Cemetery Road from SPUD 807 to 1845.
Good afternoon, David Box, 525 Northwest 11th Street, here on behalf of the applicant. Before you is an application that would take what is currently zoned in SPUD 807 and expand on commercial uses. Currently, the only use allowed is outdoor storage of automotive, boat, trailer, and recreational vehicles. This is an area that's changing fairly rapidly in a commercial path, and so this would allow for uses more appropriate with kind of the nature of the area. So there are no technical evaluations except in communicating with Commissioner Meek. He has requested that we add the requirement of a specific plan, which we agree to.
Okay, Commissioner Meek, you want to lead the discussion?
Yes, I'm agreeable with that, mostly because there's no master development plan shown, and there's a lot of C3 uses to protect the residential and the component. There's churches on the north and south, I believe the specific plan is a good idea to move this on down the road. So I have the TE language I'd like to use unless any other commissioners have any questions. Okay. Then I'll make a motion to recommend approval of SPUD 1845 with the TE number 1 being added, that a specific plan shall be required as defined in 59.14150.d for PUD specific plan requirements.
All right, I have a motion from Commissioner Meek to recommend the item for approval, subject to the technical evaluation as read. Seconded by Commissioner Powers. Please cast your votes. That item is recommended for approval. Item 9.
Item 9 is case SP 615, application for a special permit to operate a moderate impact institutional truck driving school in the I-2 and Stockyards Transitional Development District at 918 South Agnew Avenue.
Hello, my name is Adam Taylor, owner of Superior Truck Driving Academy, located at 940 South Agnew. We've been in business for 2.5 years, provide top-notch Class A CDO training. We have 13 employees on staff that consist of instructors with years of truck driving experience and several military veterans. We focus on smaller class sizes so students get more one-on-one training and are trained properly and leave our school confident. We're connected with large companies that hire our students right out of school, all about giving folks better opportunities to advance their career and better themselves financially.
Great, thank you. This is Commissioner Milner's ward, who is absent today, so my understanding is that Commissioner Powers is going to take the wheel on this. See what I did there?
Thank you. This is, when I spoke to Commissioner Milner, he did not have a particular problem with the use and asked if I could, do the presentation. There's some things about it, though, that I think I have questions about. And they are, the need for any kind of access onto Youngs Boulevard. That doesn't seem to me to be a good idea. The property to the east is zoned for multifamily residential development. And, given its proximity to the river, I think that might happen someday. Our site plan doesn't give us much information about where the permanent parking will be, where the access points are, where, if any, the sign will be. I guess this is our access point up here. So I have questions.
Yeah, so the city, they're going to close off the east side there to Young's. They're going to close that gate off, and they've already installed a gate out on Agnew where we can enter and exit. So that'll be closed off, and we'll not park right there where the residential is. We're going to park. We're working on parking across the street. I'm talking to that business owner right now about parking in their lot.
So not on the side at all?
Say that.
Your own parking will not be on site at all?
Right across the street, there's a space we're working to rent right now, a lot. Right across, it'd be, what is that, Southwest 9th or Southwest 8th?
Oh, to the south? Yeah, right here. I see.
We've been parking right there just east of Young's, the students, but they're closing that off right now, and we're going to park right there to the south in that lot right there.
Okay.
South and 9th?
It would be east of 9th. Yeah.
Right there.
Oh, over there.
Be just
Well, I think we would want that to be memorialized somehow in the special permit. If we're not going to provide the parking on site, I think we need to know sort of where it's going to be, whether it's by access or parking agreement or whatever. I know that's kind of
a business was in there.
Yeah, I would say you need to designate the parking, the student parking on the site, and then if you make another agreement with another property owner, then that is on you.
Right.
Not part of the special permit.
What's
We
that,
just
Susan?
can't park in that
So we could
2.5,
ask
3
Susan.
acres right there, 940 South Agnew. We can't fit all the students in that one lot and be training. So that's why we're working on additional parking. So,
And I don't want to discourage you from doing that, but I think whether it's your employees and/or your students, I think we need to provide within the special permit
I mean,
parameters,
can we grant
you know,
that?
where your parking's going to be, so.
Susan?
I don't think that we can say that it's going to be off-site.
I don't think so.
It's not, it's outside the limits of the application, it's outside the property.
Besides on
So
public
to
right-of-way.
Commissioner Noble's point, I mean, it needs to be
You need to just-
provided.
yeah,
I think
right.
you just say it's provided,
Yep.
and whether they provide it on-site or by separate agreement.
Yep.
Just to say it's provided, if it's going to be provided by separate agreement and it's not, then it's not part of the special permit anyway. I think if,
I think you need to designate it on the site, and I would just say parking is going to be designated on the west side of the building in the south, or in the northeast corner, along that fence line.
okay.
And then what you do after that is, again, on you.
Okay, sounds good.
I think that makes more sense.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yep. And I don't know, and Susan's not here, but if we could add any screening to the east side between the R4 and the business itself. I mean, it's a
Absolutely.
kind of a dilapidated chain link fence in its current state. But again, Jeff, can we add anything to the special permit?
Absolutely.
Yeah, to a special permit, yeah.
Yeah, we get to do that, so. I do think there needs to be screening, I mean, landscaping along that eastern boundary.
Okay.
Do we want to decide now for him what it's going to be? Trees on 20-foot centers or
I think you could go, 25, I think.
25?
You know, I'd want to see, but evergreen and not canopy trees. That would be my suggestion.
Are you agreeable to that?
Yes,
Planting evergreen trees down that side?
yes.
And then the other question, so we're close. I think we need to memorialize the fact that there will be no access onto Young's, commercial access, or vehicle access onto Young's from the site. And then there was one, your hours of operation. I think if you're going to operate something like this in proximity to residential, and I'm not trying to say what they need to be, but I think you need to specify what they are.
What are your hours right now?
It's Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then Saturday, Sunday as well. It's 7 days a week.
So,
Saturday and Sunday is 7
Same
a.m.
hours?
to 3 p.m.?
Yes.
well, I'd certainly be willing to give you 5 p.m., but I think, yeah, we need to designate the hours, 7 a.m., 5 p.m., 7 days a week. 7 days.
That'll give you all some time to get out of there after it's over.
Right.
You actually operate 7 days a week?
Yes, we have different, staff for
Okay.
weekends stuff. So.
Anybody else got anything else they want to add?
You're not teaching them how to use the Jake brake in there, are you?
Like, I don't know if there's.
They don't get going fast
No,
enough.
no,
Right.
Going there.
Is there anybody signed up?
No.
Okay, so with those changes and agreements, then I would move approval of item number 9, SP 615, with the modification of the access, the parking to be shown on site. Oh, I did have one other thing, and the hours of operation, the lighting. The language in this staff report about, the lighting being limited within 20 feet of the eastern boundary. I don't really know exactly what that means. Surely they're required to keep it from spilling off the site, aren't they? Like anybody else would be?
And there's no like pole lights because you're closed after 3 p.m. anyway, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so that's my motion.
So I just want to make sure, so it was the no access onto Young's, parking designated on site, landscape buffer, so evergreen trees, 25 foot on center on the east boundary, and then hours of operation 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
And are you in agreement with the TE, which is that there are no more than 5 commercial vehicles? I mean, you've limited the number of trucks.
On our plan, we had 8 parked inside the lot, 8 total semi-trucks.
So staff is suggesting and asking that you limit it to 5.
Okay.
So
Is that doable?
is that doable?
I mean,
How does that work with your business plan?
Yeah, we need to know.
no, I mean, it kind of messes me up, really. It makes me park 3 other trucks somewhere else, you know? So, I mean, 8 would be ideal.
And you use all 8 trucks at the same time?
I mean, some days, yes, depending on how busy we are.
Okay.
Or Jared, can you go back to that aerial that we were showing previously?
Or the
Sorry.
little plan they had. that
Yeah,
showed
so
the
there's 4
2.6.
shown.
4 there, but they're on his plan, he had some more
Yeah,
parked.
I was just looking at the aerial.
I don't have a strong feeling about this. Whose idea was it to limit them to 5, and what was the logic?
Let me see.
Come up and tell us.
Thad, did you, buddy?
Thad Johnson, Planning Department. The reason for the limitation is because the SYT overlay, that's the Stockyards Transitional District, prohibits automotive and equipment storage. So what we were attempting to do is to make accommodations to have training equipment on site and without it being constituted as a automotive and equipment storage. The number was arbitrary because I just counted the trucks on the aerial when this topic came up. It was mentioned before the application came in, but there was no long general discussion about how many trucks. 5 was suggested at the start, and there hasn't been any discussion beyond that.
Okay. Well, that was my initial concern about the application too. We want to be sure that the special permit is not stretched in a way that it becomes like a truck storage yard. We don't want to do that. So if the applicant could tell us seriously, what's your bottom number on the number of trucks you need on site?
We're maxed out at 8 there, so we won't need any more than 8, so.
Is everybody okay with that? Okay.
Yeah, I don't have an issue.
Okay, so that would be our final TE, 8.
So TE1 would be revised to be limited to no more than 8.
Let's
It
do
shall
that.
be only those which are used for daily operations.
So, yeah, so the motion is subject to the TE and the technical evaluations that we've created, so.
All right, so we have a motion from Commissioner Powers to recommend approval of the special permit. It's been seconded by Commissioner Meek. Please cast your votes. And that item is recommended for approval. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Item 10 and 11 have been continued. Brings us to item 12.
Item 12 is PUD 2131, application to rezone 3103 Southeast 104th Street from AA and PUD 1864.
Good afternoon, David Box, 525 Northwest 11th Street. Here on behalf of the applicant, this is a PUD that would take an existing development plan and modify it. So currently, the PUD that's in place had a significant stretch of commercial along Bryant, and then a tract east of that would allow for multifamily and then single family in the back. What we are proposing to do is to kind of move the uses around and remove the commercial so that tract 1 would be single family, tract 2 duplex, and then tract 3 is intended to be a townhome development. One of the TEs asked us to commit that the multifamily use unit is limited to townhomes, which we are agreeable to. There are 3 TEs, all of which we agree to. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from Commissioners Fox?
previous PUD, what was the density like?
So the previous PUD had, let's see, tract 1 was R1, tract 2 was the C3 along the frontage of Bryant,
Imperial.
and then tract 3 was approximately 5 acres of R4. I don't have gross numbers for it.
Yeah.
It was never, I don't think there was ever any effort to plat.
Okay.
Yeah, Commissioner Privet, this is your ward. If you want to lead our discussion, I have 2 folks signed up to speak.
Sure. Let's go ahead and hear from them. And
Okay.
then we'll go from there.
Very good. We'll start with Shauna Bray. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm Shauna Bray. I live at 3601 Southeast 104th. I'm just east of this property. It was rezoned 4 years ago there was a R1. There's a small area that's on Bryant that remained a R3, I believe it was, and then the commercial property on Bryant. Then we get this new one in, and it's causing a bigger density in the area, and it's actually putting a lot of, like the townhomes, there's no townhomes in this area. It is a rural community, normally 5-acre plots, at the least 5-acre plots. And so I know things have to grow, and I didn't fight this last time, because it was mainly R1 and everything. So, but with this density in the traffic and nothing else like it in the area, I see that it's going to cause a lot of problems with their area, along with the track. This has changed from the original, not the one that was 4 years ago, the one they submitted,
to
I'm
this one,
sorry,
yeah.
prior to, and has got even more denser than it was before. And with one of my biggest concerns is this drainage. They are redirecting all of the stormwater runoff to come down, and it will end up exiting out on my property, which I'm not okay with, and they don't have any rights to do so. And this is a large amount, because when you put those townhomes in the tract 3, there's no way for the stormwater to do the sheet as a natural runoff of the sheet flow. And that's one of my biggest concerns. And with I'm sorry, the traffic in the area and stuff, I think this is just too much of a density for our.
Well, I will, just for what it's worth, so if this were to move forward, as they go through permitting, they will have to submit for review to the city stormwater department and adhere to the ordinance. And that ordinance says that they cannot release any additional stormwater from their site than what already exists. So,
Yeah, but they're concentrating it into one area.
And detention is now required too, right?
I don't know if Barry would have to answer if detention was required in this area.
They're showing it,
So
but-
if we want to hear from Barry.
Detention would have to be required. They couldn't do all this without retaining site water.
And they're showing two
Two
fairly
ponds.
large detention ponds as well, so, I mean, I know that's just a picture, but
Barry Lodge, Public Works. Yes, detention will be required. That's just based on the ordinance that was passed in 2025, so it will be required. She brings up a good point about the nature of the runoff, and that's something that we would look at during the review. Changing from a sheet flow condition into a point discharge does have an impact on adjacent properties. So that would be something that we would look at during the review and there's some things that they can do to mitigate that. May not be exactly like it was historically, but we will review that to be sure that it's in compliance with the ordinance.
But I just wanted you to be aware there is a process that they're required to go through for that review.
I'm sorry?
I just wanted you to be aware that that is something that gets looked at and scrutinized, you know, if this were to move forward. So.
Okay,
I want you to know that I feel the same way on the density. As you do, so.
thank you.
Me too.
Okay, is that everything?
Yeah,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Brad Bray?
Brad Bray, 3605 Southeast 104th Street. I also live nearby to the east here in a separate 5-acre tract. I contribute to our family farm, but yeah, just not to belabor the density point, which I'm fully agree on, that it doesn't fit this character of the area, but because in general, to the southwest of there, so just single-family R1 homes in the city of Moore, and the further ones up north of that. But I kind of wanted to focus more on the traffic aspect. So I drive to work every day just right outside of Tinker Air Force Base, which is not too far from here, but even so, that the traffic, especially around 4 or 5, everyone gets off work and goes home. You know, that Bryant only being, you know, single lane each way, and Sunny Lane to the west of there, or east of there, going, you know, one way, single lane for this section of it, it backs up frequently, and commonly at Bryant will back up to the actual Bryant Elementary School to the north of there, and MP traffic, and that's current with nothing here. So that's one of the aspects I wanted to point out, is the number of lanes there and comparative to the density being proposed.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that was everyone I had signed up to speak.
All right.
Would you go to the zoning map? So I think it is worth pointing out that, one, yes, this is not developed, but it is afforded some element of zoning now that includes up to 4-family residential, single-family commercial. North of us is zoned straight RMH2, which would allow for a mobile home park to be developed. And across the street to the north and west and to the southwest, yes, it's City of Moore, but that has developed as traditional kind of single family. So what we're proposing, although different, I don't think altogether is a significant departure from what was originally proposed. What we have found is along Bryant at this location, there is not a significant amount of interest in commercial development. Originally planned was a, 12 acres, almost 12 and a half acres of commercial development. There's been almost no interest whatsoever in that. And so what there is interest for is various forms of residential. So it's R4 in name only, given that we're going to limit it to townhome development, and then it's single family and duplex. So happy to answer any questions or address any concerns anyone has. Staff has asked that we add a TE number 4 as drafted. The section 8.1 where it says track 2, it says R2 single family residential district, and it needs to say R2
Medium low density residential?
medium low density residential district.
All right.
Thad Johnson, Planning Department. So the TE staff is requesting is that we revise summary of PUD application reference to track 2 to read R2 medium low density residential.
Okay.
Thad, could you tell us the difference between that and just R2?
It's only to correct for the discrepancy. Right now, it says R2 single family instead of R1 single
you
family.
can't have a single family
So we're
R2.
just trying to correct for a typographical
It was
error.
probably a copy and paste error.
Yeah, okay, just want to make sure.
It's just what the R2 district is called under the municipal code.
Yeah, single-family R2 can't exist.
What's that?
Single-family R2 cannot exist.
Well, you can have single-family residential in R2, but it's just that the name of R2 is not R2 single-family, it's R2 medium-low density.
Right.
It was just an error on the copy and
Gotcha.
paste, is what I'm guessing.
Did you happen to have a neighborhood meeting on this one?
So the woman that spoke, Kendall, who is the civil engineer on the project, met with her, I'm told, at least once. Her primary concern in those meetings was drainage. He shared kind of the elevations where the water goes, explained that, yes, we'll have to meet the drainage ordinance. We will have to detain. As shown, we show 2 separate detention ponds, but of course, Barry and his staff will ultimately have to tell us where and what and how and if they agree with us. So, yes, Kendall was able to meet.
Not a neighborhood meeting. I mean, we have a petition here signed by a number of people. Clearly, there's some interest in what's going on.
I think-
It's different
yeah.
from what was originally.
It just looked like everyone had a large tract along Southwest 104th signed up petition.
You know who all Kendall met with?
And the drainage, I mean,
Kendall attempted to meet with the group.
looking at the topographic map, it goes straight south, so, you know.
Yeah.
there's no
Kendall
doubt about that.
offered, attempted, and met with the one individual.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll start on some of the things that I looked at. And while we have done a lot of reduction in the R1 lot sizes, he's gone just a little bit too far for me. I liked at a minimum to be 4,400 square foot on the R1 and 6,000 on the R2. Because I see that there's, I mean, as far as how it meets with the community and the surrounding communities, there's a lot of R1 development around here. New R1, relatively new.
We're gonna have to take a deferral. We can't, I can't answer the question on
today. Okay.
anything north of 4,000 square feet.
And what I'm saying is, that's just a little bit past, I mean, even where we've been on most
You would
of
want
this stuff.
4,400 square feet?
At a minimum, on the fourth, on the 40
I'd like to see
footer.
6,000 square
Well,
foot.
so would I.
I mean, the idea clearly is here to sort of capitalize on the Moore School District. And, you know, that's a valid basis
Yep.
for trying to decide where you're going to build housing. I get that. But this is so dense for
Yeah.
where it is.
We could do 4,400 square feet.
And again, I mean,
That's
at this.
bare minimum, yeah.
Yeah, and I like the idea of the variety of housing.
And that's really where the market is. I mean, that.
No, and I agree. I mean, you're asking for 65% lot coverage. I mean, just a little bit more on all of the items. And I'm okay with the 65% if it's going to be 4,400.
Do you want 4,400 in tract one?
The lot coverage, though, is very specific if you read it. It talks about the residence and the main accessory. It doesn't contemplate the driveway, which we normally would.
Right.
And
I just want bigger houses on smaller lot.
What about open space too? Or do we have any
I'm sorry, what was your question?
green space, open space?
I think it was,
What was that required? Is it in there? I'm sure it is.
yeah.
I have a lot of questions about this development, frankly.
Let's get into it.
It looks sort of upside down. Why is the denser property on the interior? Why wouldn't it be what was along Bryant? To me, that just, you know, you're creating we don't have a plat yet, so of course we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the design because of the townhome aspect back there. If it was an apartment complex separated out, I think it would look a little different.
I mean, townhomes that are 35 feet tall, 2.5 stories, is that right? I mean, I think the lots are too small. I think it's too dense. And I mean the lots on every single tract, too small. It just seems backwards to me.
Well, I mean, there's no true multifamily, right? It's attached single family, there's duplex, so having it all together in one street network, I don't know that it really matters materially where the various tracts are located. If it were traditional multifamily in the back, sure, but frankly, having the single family along the arterials, which is, you know, kind of consistent with what you have here, I don't think altogether is a bad plan. And the reason you have the more dense stuff up here to the north is, of course, to the north is zoned to allow a mobile home park. It's already entitled. So you're going to have perhaps something.
And it scales from the cities, or from the street, so you'd have single-story and two-story single-family homes, and then in the back, as it's further away, you'd have the taller two-story, just for the idea of the design.
But we can do 4,400 square feet for any single family. And wherever it's single family, carry that throughout the PUD.
Also on the architecturals, I want to talk about the materials.
Okay.
You're at 60/40, which is, again, light on the brick, but all of these homes in this area, all of the single-family homes are all at least 70% brick. So I would like to move the fiber cement board out of the 60, move it to the 40, and strike EFS altogether. You're just not using EFS on single-family homes anymore.
That's fine. Strike EFS, go to 70%.
No, well, if you will.
What'd you say?
I was gonna
You
like
want the
stay at
fiber
60,
board
40, but I
deleted?
want the fiber board in the lower.
What
of
is,
the two.
is there an issue with that? Because forever that was like in favor and people wanted that. What, just,
It's just that every single family home in this area is brick, at least 70% brick.
so delete the fiber cement board?
No, just move it to the smaller section.
Got it,
60,
30%, 40%.
Or 70-30 if you're willing.
70-30?
Okay, that's fine.
Which part of it's okay?
You gonna go 70-30?
Delete fiber, delete EFS, or excuse me, move fiber to the smaller percentage. I'd prefer to keep it 60-40 with the moves that you suggested.
I mean, I'm trying to help on the affordability of it, but still keep it.
Well, that is, that is, it's worth discussing that. Like, we push this idea of affordability every other Tuesday, but increasing lot sizes, increasing building materials, what that does, it makes it not affordable. So it's like, as a city, at some point, we're gonna have to decide, are we serious about it? Or do we like it in name only, and we're gonna put all these obligations on builders that just makes it not affordable? That's the reality of this
Right.
discussion.
And consistency with the following neighborhoods or surrounding neighborhoods. So it's a give and a take.
So 60-40, move the fiber cement to the 40, and delete EFS altogether.
Or we could leave it like it is and set a maximum square footage price for affordability.
Well, when cities do that, they tend to find themselves in federal court, but. I mean, it's a wonderful idea, but my guess is Susan perhaps would disagree with dictating price points in PUDs.
You know, while I will concede somewhat the partial logic of your comments about
Only
affordability, the reality of increasing density on the fringe in terms of the cost of services being provided by the city of Oklahoma City, and in terms of its impact on surrounding, school districts, which clearly this is intended to capitalize on the more districts. I mean, when they come and complain to us, even though it is within our purview to consider, we basically tell them, sorry, we can't help you. But, we don't have to make it harder for them by increasing density either. It's problematic for me. I mean, it's difficult.
Moore Schools has never been a school district that has been here. Obviously, so Moore Schools, outside of Oakdale, is probably the best positioned school district from a financial standpoint, given what exists along I-35. Their bonding base is massive, just like Oakdale schools. And so the school districts that have problems are kind of the suburban school districts. Mustang, Deer Creek, Yukon, but Yukon's got 40. They struggle so much because they just don't have the ad valorem base to be able to go do it. And so they're maxed out on long periods of time. The Moore School District, frankly, is an abundance of riches given the massive corridor of I-35 and all that has happened there over the last 15, 20 years. I understand your point. They're just not in the same position. They're throwing up schools.
Right. And it's not as far in the fringe. I mean, it's, 3 miles to I-35. It's not 15 like West Piedmont.
Yeah.
But in the same, that's why I wanted to at least get the size of the lots to a minimum. Because as soon as we said 4,000, pretty soon they'd be back at 3,750 square feet, so, anyway.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Did we get the 6,000? You wanted to go to 6,000? No, not on.
But yeah, on the
For the
R2.
On
duplex?
R2, yeah.
Yeah, duplex.
That's fine.
So you think you can get this done in this PUD today and not defer it? Is that what you're saying?
Correct. So what I have is the 3 TEs that are drafted. Well, I guess TE2 gets modified. So, well, we agreed TE1 and 3, TE4 would be the TE as read by staff, which we agree to. TE5 would be modifying single-family minimum square footage to be 4,400 square feet. TE6 would be the modification of the facade regs to be deletion of EFS, moving the fiber cement board to the 40%. And then your question on the duplex, are we good there?
That's a standard. I mean, that's a standard everywhere on the R2.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll agree to it and figure it out. So that would be the TE7, which I don't know then what that leaves, I guess, on TE2. Which I,
Right, so T2 kind of is irrelevant now. I mean, you're going to go to a 6,000 square foot duplex lot.
So it makes it 3,000.
so it makes it 3.
But that's would be standard.
So maybe we just
It
delete.
just, T2 was fixing your typo of 2050. That was a mistake in the body of the application.
Yeah. So we just delete TE2.
And add the minimum 6,000 for.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which would be 3,000 aside. Okay. I blame Caitlin for the typos, but she didn't draft it.
Nah.
Okay, anything else?
You got it.
Not ideal, but
I want
better.
to make sure that Commissioner Powers is okay with even the site and the design.
I will, although I'll say, I don't understand. He tried to meet. It's like you set up a meeting, you send out notice, people show up or they don't, but be that as it may, when you've got this many protestants, I think you need to have a neighborhood meeting, but be that as it may. I think you've got me there. I think.
And there may be one before council.
To say, yeah, we can make ourselves available before council, but I know Kendall, he did everything he could and perhaps leaned on her to gather her neighbors and no one came, but he did physically meet with her. They talked about
It's
drainage.
been deferred twice, and now the layout's changed considerably. I don't know if we're the better or worse, but, there's no 30-foot lot.
Ms.
so
Bray,
that's
if you
better.
want, I'll let you respond if you want to go to this other podium over here.
I'm Shauna Bray. Mr. Kendall and I talked on numerous occasions, and we were going to get together with a group at Hobie Horn's house because he owns a lot of property in that area, and he had offered up his home, but Mr. Kendall told me that his client had no intentions of changing anything. So the meeting was pretty much going to be like, this is what we're going to do, and you have to accept it. So there was no need to have a meeting at that time. Also, the land north of both of our properties is owned by more schools. There's not going to be any mobile homes put in there at that time. So there's a lot of things. We did try to work, and I did try to work with Mr. Dillon, and I was showing him on the properties where it meets, there is a big runoff. And I was hoping we could work together. But we're not going to work together if I just have to accept what they're given. I still believe the density and everything in the area, there's nothing like it. We don't have townhomes anywhere near here. There's no duplexes around there. It's mainly acreages, except for the housing additions that are close by, and they're just R1s. And I would like it to at least stay that way, if at all possible. But we did try to work with Mr. Dillon on numerous occasions.
We're happy to go. We'll meet between now and council. We're happy to do that. I've worked with Kendall since I went into private practice in 2009, and I've never heard anyone refer to what Kendall said as we're not. I mean, that's just not Kendall's way. He spends, unfortunately, 4 nights a week meeting with neighbors or in various cities. So he's very. You all have seen it over the years. Kendall's not one to just tell people to go fly a kite because we're not changing anything. So. I wasn't involved with the specific interaction, but I can commit to you here. I will go meet with these people whenever they like, subject to schedules, being able to be worked out before council.
I'd like to say something else. There are emails between me and Mr. Dillon, some of them I have submitted to y'all, that noted what was said in our conversations and everything. I did that so y'all would know that we were trying. And I can resend that if y'all would like.
And thanks. And I do want you to know, I mean, obviously today, there was a lot of concessions made. And while it's still not maybe matching exactly the existing R1 that's surrounding this, where there's substantial amount of R1 surrounding this, it's in line with what we have been improving all over the city in all of the suburbs. And for that reason, I mean, that's why I asked for what I asked for, and I feel pretty good about that. And as far as drainage, I promise you will be satisfied with the drainage, and you can continue to work, and we will get you the contact with the staff if you want, so you can work back and forth. But the drainage ordinance is very clear and very, very direct. They will have to follow that.
Yeah.
100%.
I spoke with Stormwater Quality already. I worked
Yeah.
with them for years.
Yeah.
Because
well, stormwater quality and actually Public Works, two different things.
Okay.
Public Works is going to detail how much water can leave that site, and so.
And at what rate?
Yep.
And I would like for Barry to make sure that Ms. Bray has your contact information so that as that is being reviewed, she can at least get some questions answered.
And you live on South 104th, correct?
I live on the east side of this property. I have
Okay.
Me and my family on the
Oh,
40
yeah,
acres.
yeah, that's
The
right.
40 acres north of there. I mean,
Right.
east of there, I'm sorry.
East, yeah, okay. Which, yeah, that's where most of the drainage is going, according to the topographic map, for sure. So there's definitely going to be a retention pond there.
So my staff will reach out to you, if not today, first part of next week, and we'll get a time to meet.
Okay.
So, and just, clarification, this is,
This just a recommendation.
This
right?
is a recommendation. Whatever the decision is, it's a recommendation to City Council. It's not a final decision. So you hopefully will have a neighborhood meeting between now and when council hears it. And if you're not happy with what you hear at the neighborhood meeting, I encourage you to voice your concerns when it goes to City Council.
Okay. Do we need to go through T's again?
Are you going to be in the loop on the neighborhood meeting?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very good.
for sure. Make sure I am, David. Anyways.
Yeah. I did read them.
Right, I'm just asking staff, do we need to revisit or? I know we're going to strike 2 and add 6,000 foot minimum for the multifamily.
Well,
Or R2.
Okay, so we agree to 1, strike 2, agree to 3. 4 is as stated by staff, which we agree to. 5, single-family minimum square footage shall be 4,400 square feet for the lot size. 6 would be the facade modifications, putting EFS, or deleting EFS, moving cement board to the 40. And 7 would be 6,000 square foot per lot for the R2.
Okay.
Also part of 6 is the no EFS.
Deletion of EFS,
And
right.
no, yeah, okay. All right, so with those TEs, recommend approval to City Council of PUD 2131.
A motion from Commissioner Privet to recommend the item to City Council, subject to the technical evaluations read in. Been seconded by Commissioner Newman. Please cast your votes.
Thank you.
That's recommended for approval. Item 13.
Item 13 is PUD 2141, application to rezone 13701 North Mustang Road from AA.
Good afternoon, David Box, 525 Northwest 11th Street. Here on behalf of the applicant, this is a PUD that would allow for single-family and two-family development on Mustang north of Memorial Road. We did have a community meeting. However, there was only one member of the community that appeared. So it was me, Ms. Turner, Mr. Dillon, and my daughter. showed up, and only one individual appeared, and he is the individual that lives in the neighborhood to the south and has that house that's kind of angled, looking out over the field. So modified single family with the duplex, a unique feature here. If you go to the aerial, Jared, if you don't mind, this is along Memorial Road. Memorial Road exists in name and spirit only. There is no road. It is just unimproved, not even gravel, it's just dirt. The right-of-way kind of dies for its ability to traverse that's kind of significant creek there. So we don't show a street stub. There is one TE that asks us to provide a stub. We would prefer not to. We're happy to maybe leave some sort of, space for right-of-way in the future, but we don't want to plat it as a street stub. We can just maybe delete a lot right there. If the city ever comes through with a bond project in which they do that, then we're happy to connect. Worth noting, that neighbor to the south is obviously platted, developed out. None of them connect to that because it obviously doesn't exist. But we're happy to provide the necessary right-of-way from our development to any future Memorial Road expansion. Happy to answer any questions.
This is Ward 1, so I can lead this. I don't have anyone signed up to speak, but again, here we are on the outskirts with 4,400 square foot lots. How many do we have of those in Tract 1?
We don't know exactly. I mean, until the plat comes through, we won't know, I think, exactly, because things change as we get closer to platting and streets and all that. But yeah, so 4,400 square feet is, of course, what we just agreed to on the previous application. And it's already at 6,000 for the duplex.
And while I did increase those lot sizes on the last one, what I would like to suggest, and I think what we did catty corner to this, was I got a mixture of 50s and 40s. What that mixture is maybe what we could talk about today.
Catty corner?
Yeah, to the north east. Right there in the corner, there was the R2. And then we got 50s, maybe all 50s. I can't remember it exactly, but I know we got increased lot sizes. So what I'd like to hear from you guys is what you think is a good mixture in there. And in stating that too, I would really like to see that done not segregated, but within the development.
Yeah, I mean, we did something similar to that in Ward 1 out on the Turnpike. I don't know.
It was a percentage basis, though.
Yeah.
It's harder to it's harder to mix them.
Oh, I know it's harder to mix them.
I mean, from a just.
But I think it makes for a better community.
I've texted my client.
And I know Kendall and I've talked about this before, and he has told me that it is harder to mix them. But
What kind of
I
percentage
think
do you
that,
want of
well,
50s?
what I want and what you want are going to be way apart.
I know, that's why I want to
so-
hear what you want, and then I can tell you why that doesn't work, and then we'll come to some agreement.
Well, I'll tell you, the subdivision to the south, the smallest lot's 7,200 and some odd square feet.
What if we did,
And I'm just saying that just
Sure.
for reference. I just want to see a variety of housing type, lot size within the same community.
what if we did 25%? 50s?
And they could even be all on the outer or whatever, but I still want it not just completely segregated.
Okay, so 25% of the lots that are single family shall be 50s?
My number was going to be 50.
%.
So like 37.5%?
We should have gone with 75% and let him work
We
backwards.
can't do
from
that.
there.
I mean, and I know that the site plan is really a pretty picture at the current time, but there is a large creek that goes through there. There's ability to maybe,
What if we do 40% of the single family lots will be 50 footers?
I'll take that.
And you mentioned that you wanted them mixed, like you want to say every block needs to have some or something like that, or?
I
mean,
I'll just leave that up
just-
to mixed.
Yeah, I mean, we can't start dictating.
We'll look at the plat.
I mean, when we plat it, we'll plat it, but at the zoning phase,
I want to
trying
give
to.
them some leeway. I've talked to them about this
To the
before.
extent possible.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
that's
so
not
we'll look
good
at the
enough.
plat.
Okay, so you want the mixed wording in there, and then when the plat comes around, we
Yep.
can.
40% of the single-family lots will be 50-foot lots, and they will be mixed.
Mixed throughout.
Yeah,
the
and so at
development.
50 foot, are we going to just say 5,000?
Let's keep, the 4,400 square feet, we can mix lot sizes, frontages, and at the platting stage, we'll figure it out.
A minimum 4,400 squares
Correct.
on the 40s.
So back to my discussion about school districts, this is Piedmont School District. So, that density is really going to impact them.
Right. Brand
Plus
new
they have-
elementary street down the
It's
street.
super lousy infrastructure out there.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Motivation for 2035 to get that road built.
and not a ton of money to go build new schools. So I just,
And this is just one of the developments that are coming in this area. There's getting
And they
ready to be
get
some
noticed.
really big ones.
And I will say the Ward 1 council person is actively communicating with the superintendent, so.
Yeah. And I talked to him too about this, so we're in line with that.
Can we talk screening regulations?
Screening?
Yeah, screening. I do like that it says that there will be a 6-foot tall cedar cap fence with masonry columns on 80-foot centers. I like that. That's upgraded on Mustang Road. So I have two questions. I thought on a PUD of this size that we were trying to always put language in there that it was to be maintained by the HOA. So that,
The fence.
especially on lots that small.
Fine.
Yeah. And I want
Yeah.
to change the spacing to the lot line. Because if you're going to have pillars in the middle of people's yards.
That's. I'm
Because
sure.
there's 6,000 square footers on the R2, and then there'll be in that little other section.
That's where I was going
And,
next.
and really, that cedar cap fence on the Mustang side.
Yeah. And I understand why you're not doing the same on Memorial Road. And I would assume that the city would already have the easements requested for future improvement on Memorial Road.
They're there.
And if that did ever get improved, it would look really terrible to not match that on that side also. Thoughts?
Well, I think it is.
When that road gets
unlike-
built, that fence won't exist.
You want to build Memorial Road?
No,
No? No?
we don't want to do the city's job,
Well, okay. 4 lanes.
but we welcome the city to.
I don't know whether it's feasible to, condition the screening on the development of Memorial Road, though, within the PUD. Feasible, I'm not concerned about feasible, but whether it's legally possible to do that, I would like a line call on that, I guess.
Well, it's 138 plus acres of
What's the right of way?
below R1 base size lots to considerable size PUD. And we have 2 main thoroughfares, even though one of them is not improved yet. And I understand by the time it gets improved, those fences original fences may not exist anymore, but as long as it's under the HOA keeping them upgraded, something will be there.
I'm
Because
fine
the
with
houses will be.
He's fine with it. He'll give it to us.
I'm fine with the HOA maintaining arterial fencing.
Yep.
I just,
And then, as far as the location of the cedar fence, along Mustang Road and down along Memorial Road,
I mean, the right of way is going to determine
where it's placed.
where it's at, so,
so HOA maintained arterial fencing. We've got the heightened language on Mustang Road. I would be very against putting that on Memorial Trail.
He'll give it to us. We won't ask for the north and the west, but we want the east and the south.
On what?
The cedar fence.
I don't want brick columns on the south. I mean, that's become the standard for arterial roads. Memorial is not an arterial road.
Yeah, it is. It's just not built yet.
It would make no sense to do brick columns along Memorial. I understand the rationale along the thoroughfare where the public is traveling. We want it to look nice.
We were trying to do the same thing on Portland in Ward 5 when we denied that because of the flood issues, but Portland is a gravel road. But if we released a big PUD there, we would have wanted it upgraded screening requirements.
Can we make it conditional if Memorial is ever improved that it needs to be?
That's my question, but by then,
how do
it'll be
come back?
developed
No.
out.
You can't then as a city come back. My engineer is, I mean, it seems impossible that Memorial ever gets extended here.
It'd have to have a bridge for sure,
It'd have to
right?
have a massive bridge. It's a blue line, it's a 404, like.
It's gonna get built.
I
They'll be,
think it's
it's
possible.
going to be surrounded by R1 houses on both sides of the road all the way through, so it's going to get built. It's just gonna get built in about 2040.
Or by a developer to get a PUD approval.
It will
If it's
not
going to
done
be
by
developed by 2040, then I think you need to put brick columns along your fence.
He will. Like you said, it's, I don't know, there's probably 250 singles and 50 duplexes. I mean, there's a lot in this.
While we're waiting on that, I didn't catch, was there a minimum lot size on those 50-foot wide
Well,
lots?
that's, I mean, we kind of
We'll
left
figure it
that
out.
alone on the plat, but
We're not going to say anything in the zoning about those.
Minimum width?
The minimum width was 50, but was there a lot size?
so the
Yeah.
lot size, I mean, it's kind of important to me to be 5,000, so. I mean, that's 100 by 50,
50 by 100, yeah.
where the other
Why don't we just keep it
40
at
by
4,400 square
110.
feet, and when they lay it out in the plat,
I know,
perhaps
we-
they become
right.
bigger, but
Yeah.
the
It's-
percentage of the 50s and the minimum lot size is 4,400. I don't understand what Kendall's saying on the columns. What is the spacing? What is the distance? So at 80 feet, it's a brick column every other lot line.
If they were 40s, but they're going to be mostly along Mustang Road, they're going to be 6,000 square feet lots because they're duplexes. That's why I mean, I don't care.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I think it makes sense for them to be.
What if we do every other lot line that way?
Then they're way too far apart on the duplexes. See how that works?
So we said 80 in the,
Right.
So
I
what
mean,
is-
it's a good mix to me to just put it on the lot line.
but if the lot line, you lose consistency if you have the mix.
You do.
Yeah, I mean, if
So
you got,
wouldn't
if you
we
got a
rather have
50-foot
it at-
lot and then a 40-foot lot and then,
Wouldn't we rather have it 80 so that it's
Consistent.
symmetrical across?
The 6,000 foot lots are going to be how wide?
I mean,
well, if they're 100
symmetrical
foot, if they're
60,
100
right?
foot deep, they'll be 60.
Right, but what's the depth? They're all back into Mustang Road.
Maybe by 50
Well, I mean, you're
50
only
by
changing.
120.
You're only changing the spacing really one place.
Right. That's why it's not that much. It's less than a third of it.
I mean, what we could do is they could be placed on, could we set a minimum and a maximum and then at plat? Well,
When you're driving by at 65 miles an hour on that little 2-lane road, you're not going to tell the difference between a 10-foot spacing.
give me
What do you want to see from a spacing standpoint?
Lot line.
Even if they're mixed, and therefore you have,
Those are all going to be 60s, right, mostly?
Yeah, I mean,
Mix the other one. for
2/3 of it's all R2, all going to be the same. Down the other.
okay, we can do brick columns on lot lines.
Yeah. And if Kendall has a problem, I mean, we got time, he's gonna make changes, go to council, and if it doesn't make sense to him, he can fix it.
Okay.
okay.
So we have the TE1 that we would prefer to have state that the right-of-way necessary for a street stub to Memorial shall be provided.
Oh, you think I'm done?
Huh?
I'm not done.
Okay, well, I was gonna read what we had. Keep going, I guess.
Just one more. I mean, I want to do the same thing on the architecturals as we did on the other one, if that would be okay. And it's same 60/40.
Well, how come we've moved to 60/40?
Well, I'm
Say it
just going
again.
to say it again, that it's, for me, I mean, I'd rather it be 70/30, but I think in the current construction market and affordability, that we can do a little bit better and have kind of the same look. So that's why I allow the 60/40.
I mean, you know, if we do that, it's going to become like the new normal. It's going to be every time they're here, it's going to be 60/40 instead of 70/30. I don't like that.
They were asking for 30, but at
And
least
we either
they're coming
care
back
about
with...
affordability or we don't.
There are
What I
no-
hear on Tuesdays is we do.
There are no alternative, materials that would fit within the 70/30 that are affordable?
No.
I watch Tuesdays.
Okay, I know nothing about construction. I'll just say that right out loud. I don't know what things cost nowadays. If you say 60/40 is where we are, then maybe we need to change. I don't want to have this kind of conversation every time somebody comes up and wants to do 60/40 instead of 70/30.
I don't think the 10% difference in brick is going to make the house affordable, personally.
Not much, I mean, our house is like 90.
I mean, I totally agree. I mean, it's not, it's just,
When you do it across an entire quarter section, it's a significant difference in cost. If you're looking at a house by house, sure, but across a whole, development, that's a significant deal.
People are buying houses one at a time. They're not buying the whole.
What's that?
So they're buying individual houses, not the entire community. That's what
Right,
I'm
but the
saying.
developer,
It's price, the developer sets the price
Developer
off of the
cost
whole.
for,
yeah, the developer can save money across an entire development, and that's gonna reduce down the cost of the home.
well, and for me too, I mean.
Or
when you-
increase
when
the
you look at-
profit.
When you look at how they do them, so brick's going to face the front and almost, most of it is, so the whole back's going to be hardy board.
my whole house is brick, but
No, I don't mind that so much, but what I'm saying is a lot of your cost in brick is labor and mobilization.
90,
They put an extra 10% of brick up, the brick is cost very little.
except for my soffits.
We need to have a
Everything's
study
brick.
session about this.
I'll tell you,
Because we're talking about things that we
Brick
can
was
do
cheaper
that would
back then.
actually encourage affordability. Whether these individual things do or don't make sense is something that I feel like I need some input on from those of you who know a lot more about it than I do.
well, I don't want to debate it about a study session on that, but I will tell you that the affordability where it comes into play is that brick sustains Oklahoma weather way better than other lesser finishes, saving the homeowners that may or may not have enough money to repair something
Like,
themselves.
yeah, towards maintenance, but not in the initial buy.
Right.
But again, just like Bobby said, 10% is really very, very little.
I like the 70/30. I think we ought to start sticking with it.
80/20.
We're not, I mean,
No, I know, and you could always come back and go with, but it's a cottage community, and we have this look.
if we do 70/30, then I'd ask to keep the cement fiberboard in the 70 then.
That would,
Why, like, I don't understand why that's such a
defeat the
problem.
terrible. That's like a mobile home, I mean,
So, I'm good. I feel like we've had a good compromise.
What is the compromise?
I mean, I got lot sizes. That's where the compromise to me was.
So keep
In a rural
the
community.
60/40, move the cement fiber to the 40,
To the
strike
40.
EFS?
Yeah.
and dump EFS, yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, are we there?
I think we're ready for a vote.
Well, let me tell you where I think we are. the TE1 is modified to say the necessary right-of-way for a stub shall be provided. 2 would be minimum of 40% of the single-family lots shall be 50 foot in width. The brick columns on lot lines, each lot line. For the facade, it's moving the cement fiberboard to the 40% and striking EIFS from the allowable materials. I think that was, is that it?
I think so. I
think
know
that was
we beat this thing up, but I've got a quick question. If you allow the easement for a future stub to Memorial, how likely is it that 10 years from now, if Memorial is improved, that the developer on his own accord,
They will not, the city will.
If the city's gonna go build out Memorial,
He would
it'll
put
be a
an
public,
apron
you know,
there.
it'll be
it'll be
there.
their easement and they'll attach to it?
Yep.
And that would be,
Yeah, the developer's never gonna come back
I
and do
didn't
that.
think so.
No,
But what because this is city streets in, they'll connect it.
there'd be an
Okay.
apron built in, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it.
proportionate to the cost of building that road, it would be nothing to build that little stretch of street to connect to whatever the main road is.
That's a $10 million road.
So which
Yeah, the
TE
bridge
is
will
the
probably be more
columns?
than the road.
What's that?
Which TE is the columns, number 3?
Yes.
And did we confirm where the call, I mean, what,
Line.
Lot lines.
well, I know, but on only Mustang or on Mustang and Memorial?
My preference is Mustang.
Well, I mean,
I say
we're
both.
requiring the right of
It
way
doesn't
on
make any sense
Memorial.
just to
and then
one.
some-
I
Memorial's gonna be
think,
built
I think
out.
Memorial will be constructed, so I would like to see them on Memorial.
We're requiring the right of way there, so,
Yeah.
you know, we're
Yeah,
assuming that it's
we're
going to be-
planning for them to build the road by putting the street stub in, or
We will-
allowing for the street
We will
stub to be
will
put in.
them to build Memorial out.
I don't think anyone in this room right now will be alive when Memorial gets built.
If it
We
does, I
will.
want to be there.
We will.
At
Come on, you.
at the rate we're approving PUDs,
No doubt.
could
Be
be
We're gonna
very
have to
soon.
connect that.
quicker than we think.
I'll see all the groundbreaking. I can't wait. We'll agree to Memorial too.
Okay. That sounds like almost a motion to me. Who's doing it?
Oh, I have to do it.
Yeah, you have to do it, that's right.
All right, are you ready for a motion?
I will then make a motion to recommend approval to the City Council PUD 2141 with T1 as written and T2, 3, 4 as read into the record.
All right, a motion from Commissioner Noble to recommend the item for approval of the City Council, subject to the technical evaluations. Number 1 was adjusted, was modified.
Oh, yeah, as modified to add Memorial Road street sub to be an easement and not the stub.
We're not going to provide a stub. We're going to leave the necessary right-of-way
Right away.
for a stub.
So what is that? Does that mean that'll be common area until the time? Okay.
Would that, I'm just thinking out loud here, could somebody come in and purchase that area if there's no easement there?
We can make a common area.
They'd have to
I
release
think you have
the
to have an
easement.
easement.
Yeah, I mean, and we can provide the easement.
Okay.
We don't want to put a street there.
We're not saying
that could-
construct the field, but yeah, you need
That's
to
fine.
provide an easement.
long
We
as
can
the
give whatever the
easement's
city
there.
would need to go
Okay.
build that street.
Okay.
They'd have to release the easement first before.
I would say number 1,
They could sell it.
TE1 would be basically street stub easement to West Memorial Road shall be provided within the southwest corner of the PUD.
Yep.
All right, so we have a motion from Commissioner Noble, subject to the amended TE1 and the other TEs as read in. Seconded by Commissioner Powers. Please cast your votes. We waiting? Oh,
Thank you.
all right, and that's recommended for approval. Item 14,
Item 14 is case PUD 2144, application to rezone 549 Southwest 149th Street from AA to PUD 2144.
Once again, David Box, 525 Northwest 11th Street. Here on behalf of the applicant, this is an expansion of the Orr family farm. Dr. Orr has acquired more of the property, so he's going to continue on what is a wonderful development in South Oklahoma City. This will be for some offices, a tulip farm, and an expansion of some of that really unique residential that he has on site. So there are 4 TEs, which we agreed to. There's been a request that we add another TE, so TE5, that healthy mature trees within the east 20 feet of the eastern boundary shall be preserved to the greatest extent possible.
Okay, Commissioner Newman, this is your ward. If you want to lead our discussion, I do not have anyone signed up to speak.
Okay. I reviewed this and talked with them about it. I didn't really have any issues. It's just an expansion of what's already been developed. So unless someone has a question or an issue with it, I want to make a motion to recommend approval of PUD 2144 to City Council.
Subject to the technical evaluations and the new technical evaluation regarding trees.
Correct.
Is read in. All right. Any comments, questions from commissioners? We have a motion from Commissioner Newman. It's been seconded by Commissioner Meek. Please cast your votes.
In Oklahoma City that hasn't been out to the Orr family farm needs to go.
It was both of my children's first jobs, so it's a great place for a kid to learn how to work.
I did some of the Halloween festivities out there several years ago, and it was a blast.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, brings us to our last item on the agenda, item 15.
This is PUD 2145, application to rezone 10524 Southwest 29th Street from PUD 1735.
One last time, David Box, 525 Northwest 11th Street, here on behalf of the applicant. This is a PUD on a tract of land. Jared, would you go to the aerial, please? Years ago, Kendall and I, well, it's not broad enough, but Kendall and I came and zoned basically this 320 acres for our clients. And we had a kind of master plan community that was going to be all connected. The Turnpike Authority had other ideas and put their turnpike squarely down the center of my client's 320 acre. So it's forced us to kind of reimagine what this could be. And so this PUD is really keeping all the things that are allowed now and kind of reorienting where they go. So tract 1 would be commercial tract, and tract 2, the way we have it proposed, is it's either R4 or commercial, both of which we believe to be appropriate for the area, but if it develops as R4, up against that turnpike. So there is one TE that we do not agree to. The TE says, amend sign regulations to state sign regulations shall be per the base zoning district. We do agree with that. What we don't agree with is that it says, except that maximum height of any freestanding signs on Sarah Road shall be 8 feet tall if residential zoning exists across the street. Off-premise signs / billboards are not permitted within the PUD. My understanding of the significant undertaking of the sign code was so that you didn't have to hear me every other Thursday negotiating on a case-by-case basis what sign height should be. Presumably, with 3 years of work by staff, high-priced consultants, and the community, we figured out a sign code that works based upon street typology. And so now we simply say, whatever the sign code says, because of course we spent 3 years doing it, so we have to assume it was done correctly. So we will adhere to the code that we spent countless dollars, countless hours, and all agreed that we've now fixed the sign code. So we agree to the sign code. If we're going to get back into a position where we're arguing on a case-by-case basis, sign heights and those things, perhaps we just go back to the old way where we do that. But I don't think it's a reasonable request to regulate the signs based upon street typology and then, once again, come back on a case-by-case basis and say, well, you got to go smaller. So we agree to the sign code.
Okay, but you're not going with straight zoning.
What's that?
You're not going with straight zoning. You have a PUD. Therefore, things like signage are negotiable. So regardless, and just like everything else in any application is governed by some kind of code, but you're asking for something different from what would be allowed, so that's why it's being negotiated. We can agree, I'm pretty sure, that the sign code we have is not working very well, and it's virtually unreadable, and it's impossible to find things that you need to know by looking at it yourself, but be that as it may, and perhaps maybe for that reason, you know, we're going to be talking about signage, so just get used to it.
Well, yeah, we are asking for a PUD, but if you've read the PUD, it actually is curtailed from what would be allowed under straight zoning. We're not adding to what straight zoning would allow. If you want to give us straight C3, we're here to accept it. Okay.
On the corner
So
of 29th
what we have
and
is a
Sarah
PUD
Road.
that would be more restrictive than C3. And so I just don't think it's a reasonable ask when we can't modify the sign heights or square footages the other way. So what did we do in the sign code? What was the purpose of the sign code if not to regulate signage based upon street typology? In my mind, if we regulate signage based on street typology, they looked at what the street typology was and arrived at a height and square footage that was appropriate given what development is around that street typology. If we're really now in a position of saying the sign code is just a complete disaster, well then let's go redo it. But this is absurd that we're going to go argue sign code every other Thursday. Why did we do the sign code?
I have a
Straight
simple
zoning.
sign code question, and the question is, does it, I know it addresses street typology, but does it address where it fronts residential or not?
Right, it's the surrounding development that is at the issue.
Because
And
I believe
why-
that's why staff put this note in there.
Right, zoning.
I would
the
defer to
zoning
staff.
does.
I can't read the sign code, so I don't know if it addresses
I
where
don't want
adjacent
to.
to
Know
residential.
about it right there. You can't read it. Yeah.
And we discussed it in the pre-meeting, by the way, and just to, so you can't, modify a sign code within a PUD up, but you can downzone it. Or
I don't know the exact language other than, yeah, you
I mean, that-
can't make it less restrictive.
Right.
Right.
Through a PUD.
Therefore, you can make it more restrictive.
Yeah, so, and really, on this is where it is adjacent to that R1 across the street on Sarah Road, is so that those people do not have to see a sign above the top of their fence when they look across the 4-lane road. And I don't have a problem with it, actually, because it'd be consistent all the way down, except for at the corner.
I mean, you put C3 zoning on the corner.
I guess
of
my
29th
question for
and
staff is,
Sarah.
what would be allowed under the sign code on Sarah?
Good question.
Monument sign?
For a freestanding sign?
Yeah.
Yes. Given the street typology, given C3 based zoning, what would be allowed?
C3.
So there's a table here that describes the street types versus the, what type of street it's on. So this is on Sarah Road, so a major arterial.
Give them a minute, you have to be a mathematician to figure it out.
So it looks like fronting an arterial would be
Morning and pre-meeting.
like for a
We show
C3.
Sarah as a minor arterial. The city's website shows Sarah as a minor arterial.
As a minor arterial. So it looks like 20 feet.
It might be
But
considered
be
that,
in
but it's
agreement
not.
with what I just said. It's if you were in the R1 on the west side of Sarah Road and looking out your back patio and you had a lit 20-foot sign, as opposed to a monument sign that you didn't see.
I think,
I mean, I think just because of the location, I think it would look fine.
I think
And it would be signed in a way that everyone would know.
I think Brahms has,
And so the corner could still have,
how do you define that?
because it's not adjacent to R1.
Yes.
So only where adjacent to R1?
Where I think it says across the street from R1.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they could have a ice cream sized sign up on the corner. Ice cream cone size.
See what the school has. The school has a monument sign.
We haven't talked about anything else, only the sign so far, right? That's what I thought.
This is why we had the sign code, because the signage was
Oh, yeah.
consuming all of our days.
For straight zoning.
But the sign code was carved out of the code update, which is still in progress. So we have a sign code that talks about things in a
no
way
other
that the
code.
rest of the code has not really been, brought up to speed on. So maybe it'll work someday when the
put that
sign,
in
when the whole code update is finished, and maybe it won't. But that's how we got where we are, and it's a mess, and everybody knows it, so.
We should fix it. Could we do 10 feet,
Monument signs only.
which I think is still less than what
That's what I think.
exists at the
I
Bronx?
mean, I wouldn't mind if the sign was 10 feet as long as the lettering and was at 8
No EMDs.
and no EMDs.
No EMDs, no billboards, all that. Or off-premises signs is what we call them now, I guess. Yeah. It's all about the impact on that residential area. 10 feet, I don't care about that. I mean,
Well, off-premise not being permitted within the PUD across from residential, I understand. I don't know that it would be wholly inappropriate to be on the turnpike. If C3 allows it, within the size limitations that exist in C3, adjacent to the turnpike, I don't know that that's an incompatible,
is it permitted?
we'd have to consult the sign code.
Okay, I'm not worried about what's going on the turnpike right now. I'm worried about these people who live out there, and I don't want them having to look at EMD signage and
So that's all on track 1.
Yeah.
It's the question then would be on track 2, if it went C3.
Say that again.
I said that question you're asking is just on track 2, if it went C3.
Yeah, or tract 1, right? Where tract 1 and 2 meet up,
Yeah, as long as it's across from R1.
Yeah. Well, and then how you define across from?
Yeah, it has to be small.
For me, I just have to just define it as south, what
The
is it?
first 100 feet of Sarah Road or something. Well, let's come back to signs. Perhaps, Mr. Meek, you had other topics that you wanted to discuss within this.
No, I'm fine with finishing out our
Okay.
discussion on that.
So could we ask
Like
for 10 feet?
Yeah, I'm fine with that, a 10-foot monument.
So now we'll say sign shall be per base zoning district, except that a maximum height of any freestanding sign on Sarah Road shall be 10 feet tall if residential zoning exists across the street.
I think it needs to read a 10-foot monument sign,
I agree.
Yeah, only pole signs.
not some short pole sign.
That's fine, that's fine. I think that was the intent anyways.
Janitor.
And then I would ask to strike that last sentence. I don't think an off-premise sign is an inappropriate use, given the size limitations that undoubtedly exist in C3 if adjacent to the turnpike.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too, I really am. I mean, just because the rest of the sign code would pretty much dictate what you could do.
I just want to make sure that that is allowed in C3.
Well, if it isn't, you
It
can't
is,
do
it's just 200 square feet.
Yeah.
We're not seeking to allow anything that the sign code does not allow. I know we can't do that.
If we're not careful, we'll have a moratorium of signage along I-344.
We had 3 years of sign moratorium.
I don't understand, okay, let's stop talking about the sign code.
If I might, so there's a sign calculator right here, and it's very easy to use. You select your sign type. I want a ground sign. You select your district, C3. You select your frontage. I don't know what your frontage is. Let's say it's 300 feet. Calculate, and it gives you a report with everything you need. So in this case, it's 20 feet. So that's really easy to use. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
That's amazing. It's the first I've heard of it, actually.
it's
But
in
that's great.
Oh, we've talked about it for years, so
Yeah.
it's been there for a long time.
It's just that when you do then do the calculation, you come to the Board of Adjustment for a variance.
So can you answer the question while we're sitting here, whether they're permitted to have
C3 along,
what I continue to call billboards on,
Sorry,
on
what?
the highway side?
what's the largest sign they could have along the highway on the backside of the property? If it was
Billboard?
C3.
Can you have
On
it?
the, for C3 on a highway,
They're gonna have a billboard.
Put it in the calculator.
Put it in the calculator.
so if you're on a highway, I know that it's on an arterial, you just have the usual, like,
Right.
you know, you can have a small one if it's
Yeah.
vacant.
I was just wondering against the highway if that was to go C3.
On a highway, I don't think we changed that.
Billboard size?
So if you're on a billboard, now, let's see if it doesn't, so. And you're saying it would be under the C3?
C3.
We'll see if it has a billboard on here. So it's got pole signs.
Fronting highway.
So we'll have to add billboard, it looks like, from my handy calculator. But it's, if I wanted to look it up, it would be, you still have to have the same, I think, zoning districts that you had before. So you have to have like industrial, the spacing is roughly the same, it's like 1,200 square feet. The size is the same, just the standard size for a billboard. Like, can't remember what the size was.
I don't know whether to laugh or scream.
Well, and then
Okay, Mr. Meek,
we
you
have to be
other-
careful of what we put in the PUD too, so that it's not then prohibiting a later potential ask for a variance.
So what I'm asking for is to modify the 8 to 10, require it to be monument, and then strike the last sentence is my ask.
All right. Let's get into something else. On track, now, for those of you that don't know the history on this, this is a very similar PUD to what's already approved. They've slightly adjusted the acreage size difference between tract 1 and tract 2. And the major reason for it coming back, correct me if I'm wrong, is they wanted to add all the C3 uses into tract 2
Correct.
that were not previously in there.
Right.
Previously, tract 2 was all R4, correct?
That's my belief, yeah.
Okay, so I'm not against that because it's adding a more commercial aspect instead of just multifamily. I'm not even against any of these uses. I do have concern, now that we have the right to renegotiate this PUD, that if tract 2 did go R4, that we need to talk about screenings. Do you know what the current screening is between the Mustang School to the south and tract 1 and 2?
I do not.
Okay.
Like what's on the ground now?
Right.
I don't.
Okay, I don't think there's a fence there. And if we put, if they get the entitlement and the right to build R4 on all of that acreage there, then we need to protect the screening in between the different use there.
Right. And what we did in Ward 8 is a wrought iron fence between the school and the apartments, I believe, with access.
Yeah, on
Up on Penn and
4th and
Right, so on 9.4 screening regs, I'd like to kind of create something a little better on that.
What would you like? Wrought iron along the south, if developed as R4.
Right.
Just tract 2, where developed R4.
And you'd really probably surround that whole thing anyway.
Yeah,
separating the
Especially up
commercial
against
from the
the,
R4.
it's got the on-ramp there, they definitely would screen that. We don't have anyone signed up to speak on this one, do we? Okay.
No.
Just Barry and Laura.
A sign code expert. Oh. Kendall says there is currently a chain link in back, and I'm waiting on a response
That's
on
got
the wrought
something.
iron.
Thad, what do you got?
That Johnson Planning Department. So billboards under this sign code are one of the easier parts to read, and we do make accommodations for billboards in C3. First, it's a conditional use in C3. Second, it requires a minimum lot size of 12,000 square feet undeveloped for anything else. If that lot is to be developed for anything else, the billboard has to go away.
Correct.
Billboards in C3 are also limited to not exceed a maximum area of 200 square feet display area and to not exceed a maximum height of 20 feet. But they are allowed in C3 along any street typology, provided they meet these conditions.
Oh my God.
Any street typology?
But they can't be developed. What stops them from
Yeah, the
being
12,000
developed?
square feet
And
and no
parking lot
development.
is considered developed. Drainage structures are considered developed.
So, empty lot.
Is your microphone on?
I'm sorry, district of C3, and you're just encouraging people to go in and carve out 12,000 square feet of their common area or drainage area or, whatever, and slap a billboard on it. On any street typology, that's crazy. How did we get here?
I don't think it was any street type, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's any street typology. They're allowed along any C3 district, along any street typology, those conditions are
As
imposed,
long as it didn't have a use.
as long as it's not developed for anything else.
At all.
They probably just can't afford it.
Now, I will also remind you that it's pretty common for us in the SPUDs and things like that, that we restrict off-premise signage.
Almost always.
Yeah, you're right. So billboards are permitted on property that, under this C3 exception, which has been in the code for a long time, billboards are permitted on property that abuts any street type. The street types are identified and defined in chapter, okay, et cetera. But it still has a 200 square feet size and then 20 foot. So, but it's unusual to have C3 on, say, a neighborhood street. It's typically on billboard type streets, highways, arterials, and so on. And it is meant, it used to be that the billboard was on we had like a 5,000 square foot lot minimum.
It was a lot smaller, yeah.
But, that we upped it to 12,000 because 5,000 is not necessarily something you could develop. And so that was clearly the intent. So the intent still is, that is a lot that is a developable commercial lot, and then, you take it down once it's developed.
That never happens, does it? Does anybody ever take down a billboard?
We've had some lawsuits about that. And yes, there are a lot of these signs throughout the city you'll see on kind of vacant lots. And we've had some PUDs in the past where they've tried to remove that requirement to take it down, and that led to issues. I'll just leave it at that. That's part of the reason why we are here.
So not to beat a dead horse with respect to signage, but I didn't hear you recite as part of your TE that there's no EMDs on those 10-foot monument
Yes, we
signs.
agreed to the TE as written, except that we would change the 8 to 10 and make it monument, and then we would ask to strike the last sentence.
Again, you haven't said anything about EMDs.
What would be allowed? Like Brahms has an EMD right across the street.
But if we're going to do 10-foot monument signs where we're adjacent to residential, they shouldn't have EMDs on them. That's my point.
Yeah. No EMDs.
No EMDs.
Where adjacent to single family?
Yeah.
Does the school have a EMD? No? Okay, that's fine.
Okay, let's specify that, shall we?
And we're going to get an answer on the wrought iron. Okay, so I think it would now read, sign regulations shall be per base zoning district, except that a maximum height of any freestanding sign on Sarah Road shall be 10 feet tall if a residential zoning exists across the street. Said sign shall be monument in style, and EMD shall be prohibited where adjacent to residential zoning.
Should that say, should that be maximum 10 feet?
Yeah,
Or
max,
shall
sorry.
be 10 feet?
Yeah, and I would do want to correct what I said. So it's a monument sign, but there is an EMD on top of the monument sign.
Oh, so maybe we do want
I
EMD.
just did for the record.
No,
Brahms has EMD, school has EMD.
we don't want EMDs.
How are we going to get information to the traveling public?
They're on their phones.
Okay, well, we'll limit it to where adjacent to residential so that on that corner we could have it.
Osmosis.
The fence on the south side of track 2?
Yeah, she's on the
Okay.
phone right now.
Okay.
Are
Well, since
we,
we had a good sign debate, this has been fun.
are we all in agreement? You know, the applicant wants to strike off-premise signs and billboards are not permitted within this PUD. Are we, or
Are they not anyways?
are they limited to only the turnpike frontage? Yeah.
Well, but we've just heard that they're allowed on any street typology, so if we
Well,
want them to be limited to the highway frontage, I think we have to say that.
We're fine to limit them to adjacent to
Highway.
the highway, yeah.
The other thing is, wasn't it 2 weeks ago, we recommended approval of a new development on the east side that's residential?
Yeah,
Any concerns there?
no.
We can agree to the wrought iron for track 2 along the south if developed as
R4.
R4.
Got it. Okay. Are we ready? All right. I'd like to make a motion to recommend approval of PUD 2145 with TE1 being changed as was read into the record, and with TE2 being, if developed as R4, the south side of track 2 would be required to be wrought iron fence.
With pedestrian access.
With pedestrian access, period.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Meek to recommend the item to City Council for approval, subject to the amended and additional TEs. Been seconded by Commissioner Newman. Please cast your votes.
Thank you.
And that's recommended for approval. That was the end of items to be heard. Additional items, and committees and reports, Planning Commission committees. I don't believe there's any active committees. Do we need a sign code committee?
What? Committee? That's what I was thinking.
If we
Is
don't,
that a
I think we
committee?
might need to start
they-
one.
Have a what? Sorry.
The code update, is that a committee or was that just, are we just representatives on a group?
Word on the code. I mean, so, I mean, there's the SAT, there's the policy committee, which is effectively the planning commission's code update committee, because there's 4 of you on that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there will be the development review committee when it gets, anything comes forward. So, the sign, excuse me, the sign code would have come to the DRC. Of course, it was reviewed by several planning commissioners and so on. But yeah, so there's those 3 opportunities, because there are planning commissioners on the stakeholder advisory team, there are 4 planning commissioners on the policy committee, which is 4 planning commissioners, 4 city council members, and then, of course, there's 3 on the development review committee, which, you know, whenever we bring the next package forward, they will review that, and the development community will have an opportunity to come to the meeting, as they always do, but, you know, of course, before that, we'll have study sessions and so on, to the extent that the commission wants to have them. So it'll probably be like, we will have as many study sessions as you can handle, I think.
Well, my specific reason for asking is, you know, we don't generally do, you know, an update to the planning commission as a committee, you know, at this point in this process. But I definitely came away from our last meeting on Tuesday with the sense that, you know, we're going to need a lot of focus from the members of the Planning Commission on this process, and not at the end where it's all been decided already and what do you think of this and yes or no. I mean, I especially, since neither Commissioner Milner nor Commissioner Harrison are part of the SAT, I especially am feeling the need for some input from the other members of the commission whose wards are in the core. And I'm putting that out there. We need to go to lunch. We need to, you know, get the band together and have a beer or whatever. You know, we need to be talking about this.
Yeah. So let me know if you, like I said, we can have study sessions starting now on whatever aspects you would like. We can break it out into, and because and it's timely, because now is the time. As you know, we've had meetings with the policy committee about like how we're going to move forward, and we've got meetings this summer with the neighborhoods, and so it's coming to a point where we already have a lot of like just drafts. We can say, here's how it is. We've done a lot of due diligence with industry groups, with ULI, with so on, and now it's to a point where it's like, okay, here's the work to this point. So we can do that on parking. We can do that on what was the other? Oh, landscaping. We can do that on uses. Well, we already presented uses to you all, but and then immediately following on the heels of that, we could do it on the base code itself, like this fall, I think, after we get through with all the meetings with the neighborhoods. So yeah, I'm open to however you all want to proceed.
I think we're nearly ready. As far as the policy committee, we're pretty close to probably needing a study session and just get everybody on board with where we are.
Where we are, and get their thoughts.
Because I think we know where we are.
Yeah, so we
just so that they know now what's coming.
Especially with respect to the commissioners
people.
whose, you know, wards form the core. I mean, you know, if we're going one direction that they think is just not going to sell, I mean, you know, we need to know before we get any further along.
Yeah, so for all of your information, so on the policy committee, we wanted to get core representation, make sure we got that. So Councilman Cooper's on there, Councilwoman Hammond is on there, Councilman Stone is on there. He has core all the way out to the rural area, which is great. Councilman Pennington's on there, who, again, core all the way out to the rural areas. And then we have, from this group, we have Commissioner Powers, Commissioner Clare, Commissioner Noble, Commissioner Meek. You weren't there the last time.
Sorry, I was absent
That's
Tuesday.
Okay. But yes, and that was crafted because it gives us core focus, but we also have some representation from other areas. I would expect that might change once, if we go the route which it seems like we're leaning, where we go ahead and we adopt a bunch of it next year, and then we focus on the suburban areas later, then we would probably retool the policy committee to focus more on commissioners and council members that have, you know, wards that are mostly focused in the suburban and rural areas. But anyway, for this, we can do, like I said, we can do, if study session is a preferred mode, we can just kind of calendar a bunch of study sessions and just kind of get through it. We'll have to, there's a lot of detail, so it'll be kind of up to you all. Like, do you want us to give you a 1-2 hour presentation and then say, here's a stack of things to review? Or do you want us to kind of go through it in depth through multiple study sessions? I guess that's the question.
I'd rather take it one bite at a time.
I think, yeah, I think it's, yeah. In terms of, you know, where you all are, planning department, and the timing of it, you're saying you think you'll be ready by fall. Well, maybe that's when we have a study session. Might be a good idea if we got some of the materials out, depending on which or what, or at least they're all available, so that people can come with some idea of what we're, you know, discussing, and if they have specific questions about specific things, they can be discussed. But then at that point, it may be that what you'll get back from us is feedback that, well, we needed a study session on this, or we need a study session on that, you know, to drill down on parts of it. Because it is a lot to take in one big bite, you know.
Yeah, well, we can do study sessions before the fall, so on the things that are already ready, so that when the fall comes and we've already done all the outreach and we've got a proposal and some draft code for the base zones, we can just queue that up for you.
Summer's not a great time for study sessions, but, you know, I get it. We need to keep moving forward, so.
Well, if we can find one that works for everybody, we will. Otherwise, we'll just do it as soon as we can. Because we've got some things we can do before the base zones.
And I'd hope by September that we know option 1 or option 2.
I hope so, yeah. Although, I really think that's more of a political decision than it is a, you know.
Okay. No committee reports.
We went to a committee meeting and we heard a lot of things. And it rained outside.
That we're anxious to share.
Did we reschedule the next one since I wasn't there?
We have not, but we will. I think we agreed that we needed a third one, and we'll just probably schedule additional policy committee meetings throughout the rest of the year. I don't know, every other month. I mean, I guess we kind of ran out of time at the end and didn't discuss that, but we'll at least set up a third one, and then we'll discuss how many more we would need. But point taken that it's time to engage the full commission on all of these.
Okay. Planning Commission members?
I'm so looking forward to having our new planning commissioner at our next meeting. And I am, yes, determined to meet with Commissioner Milner and Commissioner Harrison, you know, to sit down and talk about things that affect the Corps and where we're headed and whether we're all on board and, you know, so on. So otherwise, I'm off to the lake before I see you again, and I'm going to go relax and enjoy myself, and I hope you all get the same chance between now and then.
Enjoy. Commissioner Meek?
Other than see you in late July and happy 4th.
All right.
Enjoy your break.
Go America. Playing tonight.
Commissioner Privet?
Yeah, go America. No, I'm good. That's it.
Okay. Commissioner Newman? Okay. Commissioner Harrison? Nothing? Commissioner Noble?
I'll just say a little bit about PUDs and SPUDs, and some of the new code is to try to not have as many. And some of the reason why from staff has been communicated to me is that while we do negotiate a lot of things in there, sometimes we do miss other things. We're looking at this shiny object and we miss this one. And so it's just prudent on us to dig deep into these PUDs to make sure that we cover them so that we don't put the staff into a bad position. And while they think that they will be reduced, I'm not seeing that much reduction in what we see is the number of PUDs and SPUDs. So.
I expect that reduction will mirror the number of ADU applications that we have. So it's like, we're up to 12, I understand, so.
All right. Planning Department?
Back on signs, I have never actually used that calculator, never had reason to, but had I scrolled down just a little bit, there was the billboards right there. So it's pretty handy actually, and it says everything that Thad said. If you just put in C3, which is the zone and where you are, and it just tells you the information, nice and consolidated. So it's a nice tool. We did recently make the sign calculator like more visible because we had heard that people weren't aware that it was there, so we made it like more visible and in your face when you go to the code. If there are glitches or anything, people can get back to us, but we haven't heard anything beyond that. So anyway, it's there. I mean, the sign code it's a different format, and I get that it's different. I think it's a matter of taste. It's tabular now instead of being kind of verbal. So it depends on who you ask. Some people like that because the organization is tabular. It's easy to see it in one screen, not having to scroll and find like all these different variables. So it just depends on, but yes, there is that additional complication of the street type. And granted, that is an additional factor. But again, that existed in the old code in a different format as well. So anyway, but one thing that, I mean, the calculators and also I will say we're going to look into the AI as well, because the company that does this for us, that did the calculator, makes it a nice and easy way to just get your question answered really quickly, not having to thumb through the code. They're also working on developing an AI system too. So by the time we get our code update done, you might be able to kind of just ask in kind of like you would calling Thad or me, like, hey, what can I do on my property, and so on. And we already have the functionality under contract to spit out a report. So if you just say, here's my property, what zoning code applies, it'll spit out a report for you. We just don't have that because we haven't adopted the code yet. But the functionality exists in their system, and they're under contract to do that. So those things will make the code much more easier to use and digest to the layperson especially, which is what we're concerned about. I think that's all I've got for today.
All right.
And I'm in agreement, but I think the sign code it's restrictive for a reason also. I mean, I get how it's used, and it is kind of difficult to read all the docs and the data and the dots and all that. But anyways, it's restrictive, but it is for a reason. And it's just like negotiating a PUD or SPUD. Sometimes case by case, and that's just the way it needs to be.
Right, and the reason that there are complications in this code and all zoning codes is you're trying to anticipate a bunch of variables in a bunch of different situations, and the more you do that, more complicated it gets. And again, because our code is too simple, we just everything is a PUD or a SPUD. So that's a problem that we have. So it will be a little more sophisticated, granted, but one of the ways we're going to mitigate that is through these reports and the potential AI tool. It'll make it just a lot easier for people to use and consume.
Okay. Anything from Municipal Counselor's Office? No. Citizens to be heard? See none. Other business, election of Planning Commission officers.
Yeah, it's time. Mm-hmm. And I would like to, at that, make a question or ask a question of the current chair if he's willing to serve another year in that position.
I am willing to serve another year.
Much appreciated.
Well, then I nominate Nate Claire.
I would second.
I nominate Dawn for vice. Are you vice now? Okay.
All right, so we got to do just one motion at a time. So, all right, so we had a nomination and a second. for me to remain as chair. I think that was flipped, but.
It's good.
Yeah, it's. We waiting on anyone? No? You want voice vote? He's still logging in. You want voice vote, Bobby?
He's a hunting pecker. I got it. Yes. Yeah, you got it over there. There you go. You can get the next one.
All right. That is approved. So now we need a motion for vice chair.
I will make a motion for Mr. Don Noble as vice chair.
Motion from Commissioner Privet, second by Commissioner Powers to elect Mr. Noble as vice chair. Please cast your votes. And that is approved. So I would just like to say thank you all. I appreciate the confidence, and it's an honor to serve.
Thank you. You're doing good, Nate. I like it. Doing real good.
This is year 3, right?
Mhm.
Secretary.
All right. I believe that was the last thing on the agenda. Yes. So hope everyone has a well-deserved rest. Enjoy the break. Have a happy 4th. And we'll see you